Bigfoot sighting on Mount Shasta claimed by Emily Frank H., 4N special writer. Has Bigfoot ever been seen on the slopes of Mount Shasta? A logger named Virgil Larson claims he saw the legendary creature in September 1976 when he was employed by Columbia Helicopter Company, which was logging on the mountain. Larson says he saw a huge, bad-smelling critter whose hair started at its eyebrows and went straight back over its head. He said it wasn't a man, not even human, and claimed it stunk like a half-rotten bear hide. The sighting was south of Cascade Gulch on the lower slopes. Some say Bigfoot is a hoax, but Larson doesn't think so. Bigfoot sightings in Northern California and Siskiyou County are fairly common. Records show, for example, that Mrs. J. Pomeray of Butte, Montague saw in August 1956 what appeared to be a bear running across the highway just north of Mount Shasta City. But it was taking giant strides on two legs like a human. In 1962, in Bakersfield, California, man reported seeing a heavy, hair-covered creature 8 feet tall, dirty silver in color with a flat face and human-like hands. He claimed he was within 75 feet when the creature slowly walked away, arms hanging. And how about this, from John Green's Sasquatch File, about Bigfoot rescuing a Mount Shasta climber. The author failed to get the man's name, but the person claimed that while deer hunting on the mountain, he fell off a bluff and was badly hurt. A 9-foot thing shaped like a man, but reeking with the musty odor of a game animal carried him 2 miles to camp. Later, the man found 1 1/2 inch long, whitish hairs on his hunting coat. Again, in the mid-1960s, Henry Kirchhoff, Woodland Hills, California, reported that several hunting friends saw several sets of Bigfoot tracks. In fact, as far back as 1886, the Del Norte Record newspaper reported sightings of a giant creature near Happy Camp, a remote hamlet on the Klamath River in western Siskiyou County. The paper called the creature a wild man, 7 feet tall with a bulldog head, long hair and beard, but hairless on such parts of its body as is common with men. The name Bigfoot emerged in the 1920s, a brainchild of the press. At that time, Bigfoot referred only to creatures in Northern California, but later it spread to Oregon and Washington. Elsewhere, the same creature is known as Sasquatch, the English version of such Indian names as Soscatl, Soquestal, Samisogtiam, Saskatl, and others meaning wild man of the woods. The Hoopa tribe of Klamath Indians called him Oman-A, which was often shortened to Oma, while tribes in the Cascades called him Siatix. Happy Camp is well known as Bigfoot country. That's because of the many stories, including one from 1952 when a man was returning to Orland from Happy Camp during a heavy rainstorm on an extremely crooked and dangerous road. At a road detour, he was told to cross the river on a little-used dirt road through an area called Bear Valley. After driving about 20 miles, he saw in his headlights what he described as a shaggy orangutan resembling a human. Its wet hair looked blue-gray. The creature vanished behind a tree. Thinking he was overly tired and imagining things, the man drove on. Suddenly, his car went into a violent skid. As he brought the car under control, he glanced into the rearview mirror and saw a savage face, or thought he did. He had to stop to remove a fallen sapling that had fallen across the road. Hands on the tree, he was suddenly startled by the thud of running feet, and then was face to face with Bigfoot, who circled him and then came close. The eyes, he recalled later, were round and luminous. The hair on top of its low round head was rather short. Its eye teeth were far longer than a human's. Also, the chest and upper part of its torso were almost bare of hair and kind of leathery looking. It had a stooped, long-armed posture. Paralyzed with fear, he realized the monster was playing a game. It would stalk down the road, then charge back. When it stalked, the detoured motorist dashed for his car. No sooner was he inside when there was Bigfoot, clawing at the window. He gunned his car over the sapling. The creature clung to the back of the car, trumpeting screams of rage, but after a time, dropped off. Those who have tried to find Bigfoot say the story has credence. Bluff Creek, where the meeting took place, is near the boundary that separates Humboldt and Del Norte counties, a magnificent region slashed by the Klamath River and some of its tributary creeks. The forest floor is a tanglewood of prickly vines and shrubs, and the ground cover is so dense humans rarely penetrate the area. Until a road was constructed from the mouth of Bluff Creek into the mountains, no one except Hoopa Indians knew about Bigfoot. The Hoopas, who had a reservation nearby, chose to keep information about the wild man to themselves. There are more stories, too. In August 1967, almost 600 Bigfoot tracks were counted just west of Bluff Creek. And it was another time on Bluff Creek Road that Ray Kerr and Leslie Brazil, driving in a pickup truck one night, claimed to have seen a huge, dark, hairy, man-like figure. Another man, working for a road construction crew, claimed to have seen Bigfoot outside a shack. He quit the job the next morning. Several workers who stayed made casts of the tracks. They measured 15 inches long and had strange double bumps where the ball of the foot should have been. Which brings us back to the slopes of Mount Shasta. In 1955, John Chamberlain, a Eureka newspaperman, found prints on the mountain with the same curious double bump. They also measured 15 inches. Long intrigued by the persistent rumors of large footprints on Shasta, Chamberlain led an expedition, hoping to find evidence of the much-publicized Lemurians. Bigfoot stories were not common then. The group found and photographed large footprints. The prints show two knobby impressions and the stride measured 50 inches. They guessed the creature's weight at 450 pounds. Tracks were found near the 11,500-foot elevation level for more than 1,500 feet. More recently, in 1975, two women searched from Tula Lake to Eureka for Bigfoot. And in May 1976, Cherie Darvell insisted she had been abducted by a hairy, ape-like creature in the woods near Eureka. The most active Bigfoot searcher is Pete Byrne from the Dalles, who has spent considerable time and more than $100,000 in his searches. He wanted to provide protection for the Bigfoot breed, which he believes is a harmless, primitive man who should be left alone. Byrne fears someone will track a Bigfoot, blow its head off, and take what's left for commercial use. Byrne said that if he can establish that Bigfoot is real, it will be easy to obtain an executive order protecting the species. Because, notes Byrne, obviously, they are rare.
By Dave McVetti, Times Herald reporter. Just exactly what Bigfoot might be, if it exists, brings out some interesting theories. Wayne King, director of the Michigan-Canadian Bigfoot Information Center in Cairo, believes Bigfoot or Sasquatch or Yeti is a species of ape. But John Beckjord, director of Project Bigfoot in Seattle, Washington, believes the creature is something much more mind-boggling. These differences create a lot of hostility among groups of Bigfoot believers, and the experts are quick to discredit others' opinions. But they all seem to agree that a Bigfoot is bothering the William Barone family in the Brockway area. It's not something like an ape, there's more to it than that, Beckjord said. If it was just an ape, it would be dead somewhere and we would see it by now in a museum. I think we're dealing with a life form man doesn't know about. These creatures seem to have extra or maybe supernatural powers. They don't seem to die. If you fire a gun at one, they get wounded, but they never die. So what you should do is try to get pictures. These creatures seem to have extra or maybe supernatural powers. They don't seem to die. If you fire a gun at one, they get wounded, but they never die. John Beckjord, Project Bigfoot director. There is also a strange, unknown connection between Bigfoots and UFOs, Beckjord said. We really don't know what the connection is, he said, but they're often seen together. Some people say they've seen them come off flying saucers, but I don't know about that. Maybe Bigfoot does come off them and acts as a scout, or maybe they have some ability to attract UFOs. Anyway, it seems to be very friendly. If that theory is true, something to consider is the UFO sightings in the skies over the Blue Water area and Brockway Township, less than 2 weeks before the first Bigfoot sighting was reported at the Leland Shepherd Farm. Several area residents reported seeing a cloud-like formation with 4 visible lights over St. Clair and Lapeer counties during September. Beckjord said the Bigfoots have avoided capture for so long because they might be able to disappear and reappear. He also said they might have the ability to make their tracks disappear. Beckjord said they may have the ability to detect the emotions of people approaching them, and for that reason, it's usually children who see or come into contact with the creatures. If someone with hostile intentions approaches one, it runs, he said. But Wayne King and other Bigfoot people think the creature has more earthly roots. King has said it is a member of the ape family and has just enough intelligence to escape detection from humans. He said a strange smell noticed by Barone family members is a glandular excretion that some ape species release when they are cornered or nervous. King's goal is to shoot a Bigfoot to prove its existence. He said laws then could be established to protect the creature. But someone else, Kenneth Wiley, who has studied and even written a book called Bigfoot, has a different theory. Wiley, who lives in Sutton's Bay on Michigan's Leelanau Peninsula, believes Bigfoot is more than anything else a product of wishful thinking. I admit my book was skeptical, but I tried to leave open a door of doubt about it, Wiley said. Societies through the ages have had imaginary creatures that are sort of myths. After a lot of talk, somebody finally sees one. These people who believe in Bigfoot are sort of a cult. If you try to challenge them, they get real defensive. They believe if they keep looking, they will finally find one. He was asked, sort of like Linus in the Peanuts cartoon character, waiting for the great pumpkin. Yes, exactly, he said. Linus really believes in the great pumpkin, and he's going to wait in that pumpkin patch until he sees him. By Cain Bordeaux. Bigfoot has been the talk of the diner in the little western Louisiana town of Zwolle since word got out that Hosea Remedies sighted a hairy monster a month ago. Customers kept on talking about it, so I told them I would start serving a Bigfoot burger, said Sharon Leone Pierce, manager of Bill and Sissy's diner. That lasted but one day. Some customers didn't find it funny to see their fears about a lurking beast posted as a joke. Bigfoot is no laughing matter to some folks in the bayous of central Louisiana, where there have been 4 sightings this summer, and some parents are keeping their children indoors. Some older people are so scared that they've given up the evening feeding of farm animals. Sheriff's deputies and wildlife officials say it's the work of pranksters, but logger Earl Whitstein isn't backing off his account of a hairy, foul-smelling beast. People have made fun of me, he said, but they didn't see what I saw. Whitstein and another logger said they spotted the creature on August 25th in some cypress swamps called Boggy Bayou, near Cotton Island, about 20 miles from Alexandria. That report prompted Larry Satcher, a fisherman, to say he had come across a similar beast in those same woods a few weeks earlier. Then, 74-year-old Remedies came forward with his own month-old sighting, a clear 100 miles away from Cotton Island, on the other side of the state, in Sabine Parish. He said he was mowing his lawn when the hairy Bigfoot appeared. Now, landowners around Zwolle are wondering if this doesn't explain some hogs that were killed these past months. Alan Rivers, Zwolle's assistant mayor, said a couple of his hogs were killed by something out there that's dangerous, that has some pretty big claws and pretty big teeth. Bigfoot, wildcat, hungry black bear. Retired game warden Steve Malik said he'd surely like to bag a Bigfoot. God dang, everyone has seen it, why can't I? Captain Brian Poston of the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries said the hysteria has gotten way out of hand. As far as I'm concerned, any Bigfoot sighting is a hoax, he said. I deal in facts, and until I am shown facts, I will not give them any credibility. Still, hundreds of folks visiting Mary Ward's bait shop in Cotton Island and Rapides Parish hardly talk about anything else. Her son Joe was one of the loggers who say they saw the legendary creature. Since then, the Wards have sold tickets and Bigfoot t-shirts to those who stopped to gawk at 16 massive tracks on her Cotton Island land. On Wednesday, LSU lab tests of hair taken from the Cotton Island sighting revealed it was from a horse, and Rapides Parish Sheriff's deputies formally closed their investigation without classifying it a hoax. The Cotton Island sightings echo a similar sighting 25 years ago, when Whitstein's father and a friend made a plywood Bigfoot footprint and laid down giant tracks in the woods. The prank was exposed and was largely forgotten until this summer, but Whitstein insists this sighting is for real. So does Satcher, the fisherman in Boggy Bayou. I know what I saw, and it was no man in a suit. Section 4. The Heart of the Mystery Believers versus Skeptics. The debate rages on. Are these sightings real, or are they just tricks of the light, overactive imaginations, or even elaborate hoaxes?
Believers say the evidence is there. They point to the footprints, the hair, and the eyewitness accounts. They believe Bigfoot is a real creature that has managed to remain hidden.
Skeptics argue that there's no concrete proof. They say the footprints could be fakes, the hair could belong to known animals, and eyewitness accounts, they can be unreliable. People see what they want to see, especially when it comes to something as exciting as Bigfoot. The debate is unlikely to be settled anytime soon. And that's part of what makes the Bigfoot phenomenon so fascinating. It's a mystery that sparks our imagination, makes us question what we think we know about the world, and reminds us that there are still things out there that we don't understand. Section 5. Bigfoot's Shadow, the legend's impact on Mount Shasta. Whether Bigfoot is real or not, the legend has had a real impact on Mount Shasta. The town has fully embraced the Bigfoot phenomenon. You can find Bigfoot souvenirs everywhere, t-shirts, coffee mugs, even Bigfoot-shaped jerky. There are Bigfoot festivals and conferences. People come from all over the world to attend, They want to hear the stories, share their own experiences, and maybe even catch a glimpse of the creature itself. The legend of Bigfoot has brought tourism and attention to the area. But it's also important to remember that Mount Shasta is a place of natural beauty and wonder. Whether you're a believer or a skeptic, there's no denying the allure of this majestic mountain. Section 6. The search continues. New sightings are reported every year. Researchers continue to investigate. Recent Bigfoot sightings in the Mount Shasta area continue to intrigue enthusiasts and researchers alike. In July 2022, a notable report came from the North Battle Creek Reservoir in the Lassen National Forest, where witnesses reported hearing Bigfoot-like howls and experienced a sense of being stalked, says BFRO. Mount Shasta will remain a place where people can come to explore the boundaries of what we think we know about the world around us. So, the next time you're gazing at the stars or walking through the woods, remember the legend of Bigfoot. Keep an open mind. You never know what you might find. As we wrap up these captivating tales of Bigfoot sightings from Mount Shasta, central Louisiana, and beyond, we can't help but wonder about the mysteries that continue to elude us. Whether you believe in the legendary creature or view it as a myth, the stories shared by witnesses ignite our curiosity and keep the legend alive. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to stay updated with our latest content. I appreciate your support and love hearing your comments and sharing your experiences about Bigfoot and the unknown. Your engagement helps us explore and uncover the mysteries that captivate our imaginations. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey.